come up and speak after you. You're a tough act to follow. Very tough act. You know, a couple of us over the years have coined a nickname, and I think it's more apropos for Harold. It's not Past Supreme Master, it's not Harold, it's Mr. Gamma D. Because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the things that Harold has done over the last 70 plus years, this chapter would not be here today. I can guarantee you all that. So again, another round of applause for Mr. Gamma D, Harold Bergman. For me, it's been a few less years, 32 years. My initial meeting with folks from Gamma Deuteron and AEPi was at the old airport here in Austin, right off of 35. Some skinny guy with a big schnoz and a loud big guy from Port Arthur came and met me. Where's Andy Benjamin? Andy, I know you're out there. Andy, it was the skinny guy with the big schnoz. You know who that was? Your brother. Your brother. And a big guy from Port Arthur, many know, came out. I had no idea. I was moving down here from New York. I had no idea how Rush worked. I didn't know what this was. These guys came and picked me up, brought me to a fraternity house. I went to the KA house, the Deke house, the DU house, and a few others. But what I really felt right away was AEPi was right for me. For many of you guys who've gone through pledgeship recently, it was a lot different back then. There was a thing we called, those guys in the back table back there may remember the David K. Schaefer run. A few of you guys over here, Bruce, Andy, remember the David K. Schaefer? Arthur, did you make it all the way around the house for the David K. Schaefer run? Alright, we had the David K. Schaefer run. We had a little thing called Hell Week. But I will tell you, guys, I will tell you that one thing Pledgeship did was bring us all close together. Some of my best friends, after 32 years, are still those same guys I was pledging with back then, 32 years ago, and a lot of them are sitting right at that table right there. So I can tell you that you may not realize it right now, but you wait 20, 30, 40 years from now, and you'll still be talking to these same guys. And I'll tell you, that makes a big difference in your life. One of the biggest things that I can say in my time with AEPi was having the honor last summer of being up in New York for the 100th anniversary. And I know there was a handful of other folks here that were able to be there. But I am telling you, if you ever get a chance to go to a national convention, go. That time up in New York, when we had a chance to sit there in the ballroom of the Waldorf and look up into the balconies when we were singing Golden Blue and seeing over 1,000 brothers from all over the world. I think it actually was 1,400, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Florence. Over 1,400 brothers from all over the world. Some were in kilts, some speaking other languages. That's how big AEPi has become. And when we started singing Golden Blue, and I looked over to my dad, who's been involved with AEPi since 1957, and he's in his 70s, it brought tears to his eyes as we all sat there with our arms around each other, some of us not knowing each other till that weekend. It really was something. So let me tell you guys, if you ever get an opportunity to do that. The last thing I want to talk about, as many of you know, is what we got in Rio Grande right now. About 8 years ago, Harold called me up, said, Jeff, we need to do something. We need to do something because we need to get these guys back into a house. We need to get these guys back into a house. It took us a few years, thanks to a lot of the brothers in this room for helping out. We were able to find a piece of property on Rio Grande. I remember being told, and Andy can laugh at this, it's a 50-foot wide lot, you can't fit a fraternity house on it. Then you can't build it for the amount we budgeted for it. And then we got a late start because of permits here in Austin. Not that that ever happens in the building industry. And we started in November of '09, and we were told you gotta have it done by August 2010, so the brothers could move in for that year, considering they were already signing leases. With golly, I can remember, and I can point out brothers in the room that were there with me that first week in August. When we came down, we drove a moving truck from Dallas with some furniture, and a moving truck from San Antonio with the top sheared off, thanks to Brother Coben over there. He made a turn a little too close. But anyway, in August of 2010, we were able to move into our new house. But I can tell you that if it wasn't for folks like Harold Berman that had watched over those assets that we had from that San Pedro house, and the help from certain folks in our national fraternity, we wouldn't be able to be in that brand new house at Rio Grande. And I can tell you, you guys know how much I love coming by and taking a look. After 4 years, it still looks great. So when you see a brother that's been around the fraternity for a bunch of years, thank them. Because if it wasn't for them, you probably wouldn't have that new house on Rio Grande to live in. I can tell you that much. I just want to end it with one thing here this evening. If I can instill into the undergrads here this evening, one thing is AEPi is not just for those 4 or 5 years that you're an undergrad, but for the rest of your life. What you do as a Jewish man, brother, father, and husband are part of what's instilled in you as a brother in AEPi. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you guys.